Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Mastering Meta Horizon Worlds Creation. First, it's so awesome to see everybody here, all the interest in building for Horizon. I'm excited to share with you guys how you can master building in Horizon, some of the new features that we have coming up. So to start off, I want to talk a little bit about why we're here, why we're talking about Horizon creation tooling. Last month, we made a big announcement. We announced our Creator Fund. What the Creator Fund is it's a commitment for our creators and our users. It's a commitment to bring better content to our gaming ecosystem for Horizon. It's a commitment to bringing our advanced tooling to all of our creators to build that awesome content. And lastly, it's a commitment to our creators to build a business around building in Horizon. We did that by announcing a $50 million fund that will support our creators in building awesome content for our users on Horizon. Today, I'll show you how to master Horizon creation. My hope for today's session is you'll walk out of here with three things. The first thing is get a new understanding of what's possible when building for Horizon. The second is getting a feel for how our new advanced tooling can help you build great worlds. And then third, see what the power of AI and GenAI can, and how it can expedite your creation process. So to kick us off, I wanted to show you guys a video. This is a real world that we built, and pay close attention to some of the asset details because I'm going to ask you a question about it in a second. So look at the world. You can see a bunch of structures on the right. You see a campfire, a nice terrain, trees, floating islands. You can see going through a tunnel here with some of the buildings attached to the cliffside, some trees. We're going through a cave with a skull head with some fire coming out with some smoke. Now, show of hands, for an artist and a team to put this together in the scene, create all the assets from scratch, how many folks think it took one day to do this? All right, 1 week, 1 day? We're hiring, look at our job board. 1 week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months. Okay, seems like the average was about 1 to 2 months. So we did a study, or we looked at this, and we estimated about 2 weeks for 2 artists to come in and create this world. Now we put one of our art leads on it in Horizon Creation, and he built this entire world in 6 hours. 6 hours. What I'm going to show you today is how he's doing it and what tools we give you to be able to do that as well. Now, who am I? My name is Jordan. I've been a product manager for the past 10 years. I've been at Meta for the past 3. My goal is to bring creating tools to help you create your efficiency and improve your speed to be able to build great worlds in Horizon. I'm from Austin, Texas. Have a son, 14-month-old, and a wife. He keeps me plenty busy in my free time, but other than that, I'm working on this. So for today, we're going to go over 3 areas. The first one is our creation tools overview. So I'll give you an overview of exactly what it is. I'll give you an overview of how it's used. I'll go into a quick demo. I'll hyphenate demo because it's a video, because the Wi-Fi is a bit dodgy, but I just want to get you a feel for practically how it would look like to build these types of experiences in Horizon. And so you guys don't have to listen to only me for an hour. We're going to bring up 3 of our top creators on Horizon to talk a little bit about their industry tricks that they have, the tips on building with Horizon, so you can learn a little bit about what it's actually like to build on these platforms from some of our creators. So let's go into our tooling overview. So there's 6 key areas in our tooling that I wanted to highlight today. The first one is our desktop editor. The desktop editor is actually the tool that kicks off everything else in this list. This is where you'll go in, this is where you place assets, import assets, build your scene, build your world, build your game. The second is TypeScript. That's our scripting language. That's how you build complex game logic on top of your game. Second is assets and NPCs, performance tooling, collaboration features, and of course, last but not least, generative AI. So looking at the desktop editor first, this is the general layout of what it'll look like when you go in it. You have your hierarchy on the left. This will show all of your assets. You can group items like you would normally in Unity. You have your asset library where you can access hundreds, if not thousands, of assets directly in there for your use to help expedite your creation. You have simulations and controls on the top. This should all feel pretty similar if you've used other game editors before. You have your property attributes, asset animations, and physics and attachables controllable on the right. Now, Horizon is not just for MR creation anymore. Of course, MR is still a big priority. We want to push for MR, but we also want to push for creators to create awesome mobile experiences as well. So we have tools dedicated for mobile in the editor as well. In here, you're able to preview your game with mobile controls. You're able to share a link for easy play testing, so that way you can get in with your either teammates, play testers, and you're able to get into your game without publishing it first. And you can also send a notification directly to your phone. Now for assets, previously when you're building in VR, you're a bit limited with the assets that you could actually use. Importing assets, custom assets were a bit difficult. So now we have support directly in the 2D editor for Blender and Maya imports of assets, so you can build a lot more complex assets and worlds. We also have an extensive pre-built library of NPCs that you're able to pull directly into your world as you build your games. And then lastly, we have a library of assets to kind of help kickstart that asset creation or your world creation. TypeScript. TypeScript is our main scripting language for when you're building your complex game logic. TypeScript is great if you're familiar with React type apps, web development. TypeScript is likely a language that you've used before. If you're coming from C#, C++, it should feel fairly familiar. We have a robust set of Horizon APIs that you're able to use and hook in to the actual gameplay as you build it. Using TypeScript is great. You're able to actually use your own IDE, so you don't have to use an IDE that's built by us that doesn't have all the features that potentially like a VS Code uses. I personally, for my side projects, like to use Cursor. Getting the AI development workflow really helps, at least me, who's kind of a hat coder at times. For team collaboration, we have collaboration built in by default into the editor. So you're able to build with your entire team at the same time. You can see exactly where people are in the space and what part of the space they're editing. You can play test without any additional steps included. It's just hop into the editor and you can start testing. You can share assets with your teams, so that way you can set it at the project level and you don't have to worry about sending drives back and forth between your teams. All this helps with that zero friction playtest to get you into that build, test, iterate loop as quickly as possible. Now, when it comes to getting into that build, test, iterate loop, one very important aspect is actually what you can do when you launch your game, right? V0 is very rarely the hit game that you want it to be. You need to actually see what users like, test it, iterate on, et cetera. So we provide tooling for you to do that. So this is whether it is actual performance tooling, memory, CPU, GPU type testing, or actually world growth. So where are users spending the most time? How many users are you getting? We provide you the performance tooling to be able to see that. If you're interested in performance tooling, definitely check out Ben and Brad's session later today. They're going to be going into how you can use analytics to help grow your game in development from Better Horizon Worlds. Now, I will typically be a bit transparent. Our goal internally is this. It is creator efficiency. How can we get creators to build super high quality worlds faster? That's our goal. We're obsessed with it. We really want creators to use this tool as a superpower rather than to hinder it. We have some way to go. We're working there. But there are a lot of new features that we are working towards that are going to help enable this. For me, when I think creator efficiency, the biggest thing that I think is GenAI. It helps you accelerate those workflows. It helps you go from zero to something really quickly. And now the question is how can we help zero to something be zero to a high quality world? So let's take a look at what GenAI can do right now. Okay, so you might have noticed a few GenAI features throughout that video. Let's go over what we saw. So there are three main GenAI features that we have in the product currently, or it will be releasing very soon. The first one is TypeScript. For our people who are more of the creative type, don't enjoy actually writing code, you're able to generate TypeScript directly in the editor from a text prompt. So you can put in there something like, make it so that the coins appear to be floating with a slight rotation. When a user collects them, make them spin fast and move. This will generate the TypeScript code for that asset that you're attaching to, so that way you can make your game come alive without actually having to know complex TypeScript. The second is audio. You don't need to go searching for audio files to figure out exactly what you want. You're able to put in exactly a prompt, like a cha-ching sound that indicates a user has collected a new coin. texture, you're able to do as well. So if you have a sphere, you're gray boxing a coin, you can ask it to add a gold texture to the sphere. So this will make it look like a coin, and with these 3 tools, you're able to expedite a lot of your development of the world. Now, we have some exciting things coming down the pipe for the rest of this half, and our goal is to go now from weeks to hours. So I talked a little bit about how that initial world took us 6 hours to build. These next features that I'm going to talk about are how we did it. Number 1, mesh gen. We're bringing mesh gen directly into the editor. So no more of the days where you have to go to third-party tools to be able to create meshes or buy asset packs if you're not an artist. So you're able to put in prompts like simple cartoon pirate monkey with a sword standing on a simple cartoon pirate treasure chest. This will output the asset that you're describing, and you can fine-tune it as you see fit. The second is skybox generation. So you don't need to go looking for skyboxes anymore. You can put in a prompt directly in it, and it will generate a skybox for you. And last, which will be coming early summer, is full scene generation. So this is where you can go from a text prompt to a full scene with a prompt. So you could put in something like a cozy island with coastal cottages, surf shacks, and a dock. Let's see what these looks like in practice. So this is your mesh gen. I've already mentioned this prompt, simple cartoon pirate. This will take approximately 3 to 6 minutes to generate, but it'll output something like that. Pretty spot on for what we were looking for. If you don't like it, you can fine tune it. You can ask for different styles. But this will help you go from nothing, if you're not even an artist, to having a full world that you can use assets in. Let's see exactly how that world we talked about earlier was put together using mesh gen. So you're able to put in inspiration pictures for the output that you want. The assets will be generated 3 to 6 minutes depending on complexity. As assets start being generated, you can start placing them around your scene. And 2 hours in development, this is what you have with no art expertise prior. Three and a half hours, the game's starting to feel alive. You can make some final touches. In total of 6 hours in development, you can have a full world that you're able to use. So that's pretty incredible, going from nothing, thank you. So you can go from a completely empty world to a very rich, dense world in less than 6 hours. Now, we want to take it further. We want to go from hours to minutes. That's our next goal. How are we going to do that? Procedural scene generation. So I mentioned that prompt earlier, a cozy island with coastal cottages, surf shacks, and a dock. You can see there on the image on the right, you can essentially create an entire scene that you can adjust parameters for with one single prompt. You don't have to go asset by asset. This will be coming early summer. The asset gen that I showed in the last video will be coming by the end of April. Okay, let's go into a bit of a demo. Of course, a video demo, not me demoing. Wi-Fi. So as we go through this, I want to highlight things as the demo is happening. So I just want to give you a feel for actually how to use the editor, what this looks like in practice, just so you guys know we're not making any of this up as marketing videos. So starting off, going into the world, you can start to run around. So this is simulation mode. All we did was press the play button at the top. You can browse around your world in desktop view or in mobile view, like I mentioned earlier. We go up to this gate, the gate is closed, right? We need to figure out actually how we want to make something interactive here to create some form of gameplay, right? An experience where you have to do something to open that gate. So let's go back into edit mode, let's fly around. Now, the best basic example of a game is always coin collection. So that's what we're gonna do here. So we're gonna go into GenAI. We don't have any coins, right? So let's go ahead and put in a prompt that we wanna get coins. So here we just put symmetrical simple coin, pretty easy. Now that'll take a bit to generate. So typically what we do is we multitask, right? Multitasking is always good when GenAI is doing its thing. So now we're pulling in a prefab that we had from a previous project. So this is a monkey with a chest, like we mentioned earlier, and this was previously generated by GenAI and then created as a prefab later. In here, we're just adjusting some of the parameters. We're adjusting the actual zone in which a user can walk up to it and start with it. And then let's go ahead and play test again. So we run over, and just like that, out of the box, you have an NPC who's putting up a prompt asking you for coins. Now we're going to switch it to a mobile view so you can see exactly how this will look like on mobile. And our coins are now done generating. So we can pick, which coins we like. We can add it to our asset library. And we can add textures to it directly from here as well. So while that's working, we'll come back in here and we'll add a HUD. So all we did was drag in another prefab, which is a coin collector HUD. In the HUD, you're going to be able to see as a user runs around, they're going to be able to see how many coins that they've collected. The whole point of this game will be to collect enough coins to make it past the NPC monkey and into the gate. Now in here, since we dragged in this prefab, it has default parameters already set for it. So we're able to come in here and adjust the text prompts as we see fit. So we can change the verbiage a little bit, and this will all come out of the box by default for you when you import this prefab. You can put different options for it. You can put dialogues for it. And our coin is about finished. So we'll go ahead and save those models into our library so we can use them for future use easily. And let's go ahead and play test our new NPC dialogue that we just did. And you can see all of the verbiage updated. We can put in how many coins is required for it. And now let's start making our coins. So we can drag in a coin to our scene very easily. It's a very large coin. We'll take care of that, don't worry. We can get a feel for which coin we like the best. So we have this option. We'll save this one as an asset. We'll drag this one into the scene as well. Let's resize that so it's not so big. And let's bring this new one in. Now we can compare. Which coin do we like better? Right, left. Spin it around a bit. Yeah, let's stick with the right one. So we'll delete that one. And now we have a coin. We can change things like collidables so players can run into it or not. In this case, since it's a coin, we want them to be able to run through it. And we can choose to preview directly from a specific spot. Now, it still felt a little big, so we'll make it a little bit smaller. We'll preview again. That feels good. But the coin is still very dumb, right? It's still an asset. It's not doing anything. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add a collectible around it. So we add in the collectible. We'll put in the range in which we want the collectible to trigger on. We'll do some grouping to make sure that these always stick together and we can easily duplicate them later. Make some last coordinate adjustments. And now we have a collectible. So let's go ahead and play test it. And we have a coin. The coin will flip, and it'll update the HUD by default because all of these are coming in as our prefabs. And the coin disappears, so we have to restart the simulation. OK, let's do some play testing. We reduced the parameter for the NPC to require one coin. Let's go ahead and grab our coin. And let's go ahead actually first and make our coin a bit more interactive. Right now, it's just sitting there kind of dumb. So let's go ahead and put in, I want to rotate it and bob this object as it's just floating there. Let's really make the game feel a bit more alive. This will generate your TypeScript code. You go over into your IDE of choice. In this case, Microsoft Studio. And then we'll put the code in there. We'll assign our script to it. You can set rotation speed, bob speed, based off of the parameters that you make available in the script, which GenAI did for you. And then you can go ahead and preview again. And there you go. Just like that, you can have a coin that's bobbing, rotating, and this is all done by GenAI. Let's slow the rotation speed down a bit. It felt a little fast. Now let's go ahead and preview again. And just like that, we have an effect, we have sound, we have a rotating coin, and we have a HUD that's updating. Then we go up to our monkey. It's requiring 1 coin right now. And then boom, the gates will open for users to be able to go through into the game. So that's just a very quick example of how you can go from a game that does not have much gameplay, even a game that has 0 art in it, to actually a pretty interactive game, albeit a coin collection game, which is fairly simple. But hopefully you get the idea of how you can go from nothing to actually having full scriptable assets in your world that you're able to use. Okay, now let's move into our creator panel. I'd like to invite up our 3 creators. Please join me in welcoming them. We have Jessica, Benjamin, and Pedro. Hello. Thanks. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hello, hello. All right, guys. First, thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate it. It's so great to have some of our existing Horizon creators who have had success on the platform here to talk to all these folks about how you guys have basically done what you've done up until now. We'll start off with some quick intros. I'd love for each of you to go down the line. Ben, I'll start with you. Give a quick intro. What worlds have you built? What's your background in creation? And how did you become a creator?
Hi, my name is Benjamin Fiener, CEO of HabitXR. I've been developing on Horizon Worlds for 5 years. I've been doing it professionally for 3 years. Our studio is known mostly for our games Plants and Bugs, which are sort of cozy experiences on Horizon Worlds. But our primarily we work with other studios who are new to Horizon to provide technical support, as well as some studio resources. And I got started on Horizon Worlds because I was looking for a VR-compatible CAD program for my 3D printer at the time. And it was not that. If you're looking for a CAD program for your 3D printer, Horizon Worlds is not the place for you. But it did capture my attention, and here I am 5 years later.
Awesome, Jessica.
I'm Jessica Richardson. I am the CEO of Kawaii Creator Design Studio. I've been in Meta Horizon Worlds for 3 years. I actually build games with my family, my 2 teenagers, and my husband. We decided to come in and use Horizon as part of a homeschool curriculum, and we just love the tools. We ended up building over 40 worlds, and I ended up working for some really great companies on some really great projects.
Awesome. Pedro?
Hey, hello. So my name is Pedro. I'm the lead game designer at Cluj. I've been working there for 3 years, and since I started, I've been working with Horizon. I've been a part of like almost 20 games, Horizon games by now. Most of them under NDA, but I can talk about the latest ones we released, Dream Leaper and the new version of Smash Golf. And we're also working on a little game called Chicken Tag, which is gonna come out pretty soon. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Pedro. Thanks all for the intro. Let's jump into some questions. So building on Horizon, what's each of yours favorite tool? What do you love about building for Horizon when it comes to some of our advanced features? So desktop editor, TypeScript, et cetera. Jessica, let's start with you.
I actually do a lot of collaborative work with my family team. Since we live together, we have a special workflow. I spend a lot of time in the VR editor getting a feel for the world. My oldest son does most of the TypeScripting work, and my daughter is our lead 3D artist. So we sit next to each other and talk about how do we use those 3 mediums to create a memorable experience for our users. So for me, there's not one that's more effective than the others. We really use them all daily to create the kind of experience that we're trying to get across. Something that is a little magical, something that is a little surprising. So they're all equally important to us.
Amazing. When you say surprising, what is like the emotion that you want people to feel when they come into your worlds? Like how do you actually create that feeling of surprise or wow?
I think it's really just combining our 3 specialties. I really need to feel out the space. I like to feel like, what emotion am I feeling when I first spawn in? Spawn in is something that I really focus on. My daughter tries to create connection with her characters in 3D models. And then my son brings it all together with his mechanics that he creates. So it's really just, we're working as one really good team to create it all together.
Wow, amazing. It must be so amazing building with your family like that. I might need to get some tips from you. My son's only 14 months old, but I'm trying to get some TypeScript into him. But you got to teach him young.
Might be a little early for that.
My wife is pushing me not to do that. He needs to walk first, but that's okay. Ben, same question to you. What's your favorite part of the tool? What do you enjoy most of building on Horizon?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the collaborative nature of it. I think if you were here for the last panel, there was a question at the end that really, sort of nailed my feeling about the platform that was asked, where it was like, hey, like, in Horizon World, it's really easy to work with other people to make stuff. Can we get that for Unity? There's nothing quite like being inside of the creative space with my artists or my coders, and we're there and we're picking up elements of the world and we're looking at them, and we're able to flip between the desktop editor and the VR, the VR editor fairly seamlessly. Mm-hmm. It's just easy. Right, it's just easy.
It seems like from both your answers, the power is in both of those things, right? Like one thing on its own is a bit limiting for you, but when you have the ability to actually create things in 2D and then try them actually in front of you, that's where like the magic comes from for you guys.
Absolutely.
Is that fair? Yeah. Pedro, same question. What's your favorite part of the tool? What do you enjoy most about working on Horizon?
For Horizon in general, it's just a very simple tool to use, and it just takes less time to get to like a really cool small prototype. But for the desktop editor, we've been using it for a couple of months. I don't know, it's just similar to traditional game engines, so it's a little bit better or like, I don't know, easier to get used to if you are used to developing games using, I don't know, Unity or Unreal or whatnot.
Yeah.
But having both is just really special, I love getting in there in VR and I don't know, building with your own hands. It's just a tighter feedback loop, and it's, I don't know, it's just magic. But yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Pedro. Next question. Ben, I'll start this one with you. Obviously, we're all here. We love building things. We're all builders. Creating awesome things is fantastic. Ultimately, we all need to have a business model around it as well to kind of fuel the dreams. How have you built your business around creating for Horizon Worlds? What are the business outcomes that you expect when you build on Horizon Worlds?
Yeah. Unlike Kauai or some of the other creators who I see here in the crowd, I am not a content creator business model. I focus on doing studio work, and whether that is 2P work, building worlds in partnership with Meta, or working with other studios on their worlds. My company provides technical expertise. We're platform experts. I've been on the platform for 5 years, so I'm not only familiar with the tool set that exists now, but also where it came from. Over the course of its development. So I've been really successful in helping onboard a lot of these studios and flagging, some issues before they even get onto the platform. Horizon is, as we mentioned, it's just super easy to use. It's very, very fast. You can prototype things in an afternoon, even without that incredible, GenAI we just saw. But there's, it's still a fairly nascent platform. It's still growing, and it has its quirks, just like every game engine does. So I've been really successful in helping onboard studios very quickly to the platform and get them up and running, and helping avoid some of those challenges that a lot of us sort of waded through initially as we learned the platform.
Yeah, amazing. Pedro, over to you. How have you built your business around creating for Horizon Worlds?
So Cluj has been very invested in Horizon since the beginning. We've done everything from like smaller internal prototypes to high-stakes projects with external clients. So it's just a main pillar of our business right now. We very much believe in the platform, and we've been, I don't know, just following its as it gets more mature and more, I don't know, like ready for a general audience. So yeah, we've done a little bit of everything. We also done onboarding for studios as well, and it is our strategy to just get a huge, a solid core of developers who are used to this type of environments, UGC platforms and VR, and especially now the making cross-platform games, right? That works on games that work on both VR and on mobile. So yeah, it's very much part of our business.
Yeah, it's a great call. It's a huge focus for us, is that cross-platform support. So we're making it easier for creators to build for VR, MR, but also mobile, because we know how wide the reach is for mobile. So I think you hit it right on the head there. Jessica, I imagine being a family shop, business outcomes are very important for you guys. How do you think about this?
We have a little bit of a different approach to our business in Horizon Worlds. One thing that we've really focused on is building a strong, recognizable brand on the platform. So there's very few people who aren't familiar with our work. When we release a new world, most people are going to come and check it out. We're pretty trusted to try something new and innovative with every piece of. I mean, that's pretty much what we've built our business on. Is, like I said, I want to surprise people.
Yeah.
And they know when they come in, they're going to feel surprised. They're going to feel delighted. We try to put a lot of feeling into what we do.
Yeah.
So because of that, I've gotten a lot of other opportunities with businesses and consulting. Mm-hmm. And I'm currently building a new version of the Soapstone Comedy Club with my team.
Awesome.
Thanks. Which is going to be releasing in a few months. And we're just always looking for new opportunities, within the space, and the new ones arrive every day.
Yeah. So your guys' unique value is like the brand in which when users come to your world, they know that they're going to experience something they've almost never experienced before, right? That's the brand that you guys push to people. Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, Pedro, let's come back to you. When you think about GenAI, how do you currently use GenAI? And what are your hopes for GenAI in the future when it comes to building amazing games?
So our team uses it a lot for quick prototyping, generating assets, and mainly for Horizon, we've been toying a lot with audio, dialogues, and sound effects. Speeds up the process a lot. I personally like to use a AI assistant as a design assistant, I guess, like overloading it with information and just having like long discussions with the AI. It sounded weird for me at first, but now it's really, really helpful. Just having someone that knows the design from the inside out and just spitting out ideas and brainstorming, and even working on documentation from time to time. As for the future, I love the asset generation. We're definitely gonna use that a lot, and I don't know, it may take a while, but I'd love to see like real-time asset generation inside the game, like allowing users to generate assets for specific games. Yeah. I think we're a little bit far off from that, but it's going to be super cool.
Yeah, maybe a couple improvements in CPU and GPU and we can get there. Yeah. I do resonate with your first response, though. I feel like the way we probably think is very complex, right? And when you try to like put this down in a simple way, it's very difficult, and AI can help you go from complex to simple and kind of give it that input that you need to help then give you information back. Is that how you?
Yes, it's interesting because it's almost like talking to a human being, but the thing is they don't forget anything you say.
Yeah. Good or bad?
Human beings do, So you constantly have to re-explain. If you're talking to a person, you're constantly having to re-explain like small details. And with the AI, that doesn't happen. Yeah. They remember everything, and sometimes you even have to ask them to forget small details because you change your mind. So it's an interesting dynamic. I've been enjoying a lot doing that type of experiments, and it's super cool.
I remember the first time I asked ChatGPT a question and it came back with something like they already knew about my family, and I was like, "Whoa, we're getting a little
to me a couple of weeks ago,
and it's crazy here."
Yeah, it's
awesome. Jessica, over to you. How do you use AI when you build?
I actually, because I'm the creative, I do a lot of the same thing, feeding ideas in, getting feedback. My daughter will add her ideas and he will add his ideas. So it just becomes like this melting pot of everyone's ideas, and then what else can the AI add to it? We've been using audio AI Gen a lot. We recently were part of the mobile short loop competition, and we entered at the last minute. So we had 2 weeks to create a fun and engaging game. So for that game, we built a world called Zomburgers, where you serve burgers in a crypt to hungry zombies. And one way we were able to develop it so quickly was we created the dialogue, the witty dialogue, when you serve the wrong burgers or you serve the right burgers. It's very entertaining. We did that all using GenAI audio.
Interesting. It reminds me of a burger place in Vegas where they just insult people the entire time.
There's a little bit of that.
A little bit. It's funny how much people really enjoy being insulted when they know it's for fun.
Yeah, the players seem to really enjoy that, and there's 3 different levels. So depending on how spicy you want it to be, they'll say nice things or
they crank
insult
the
you
spiciness
a
up.
little. But I think Meta enjoyed it. We ended up getting second place in the short loop competition with our entry.
Amazing. Yeah, congrats. Ben, over to you. How are you using GenAI? What are your hopes for GenAI in the future?
Yeah, so we mostly use it in very early ideation, a lot of like concepting. Like I said, we do a lot more on the technical consulting role, but when we do studio work, we are a small shop, so it's really helpful for if I have something I'm trying to communicate to my artist. It's a lot easier for me to go, generate an image of like, hey, this is what's in my head, because she's a much more visual person, and so that can be incredibly helpful. We are starting to use the audio, the GenAI audio in the desktop editor, and it's quite good. Surprising. There's a lot of AI tools out there where I've looked at it, and on like sort of closer examination, it's like, this isn't really something we can use for final products, but we've been very impressed with the Sound AI. And as someone who has chugged a couple Red Bulls and got into headset and tried to make something in 6 hours, and kind of done it, right? Like built a prototype. I'm just so excited to be able to like speak worlds into existence. I mean, that just it makes me as excited as I was the first time I put on a headset and I got a piece of audio to work when you ran through a trigger. I mean, that moment of creation is just so magical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm seeing the theme between all your 3 answers is like there's really 2 things, right? There's how do you accelerate from 0 to something, which I think we've talked a lot about today. But then also how do you enhance, right? Like how do you enhance your existing workflows? How can you go from having no audio to audio very quickly? It seems like that's the general theme. And then Ben, how do you think about like right now when you use GenAI, how do you think about hand-created assets as a differentiation versus GenAI created assets, and what is your expectations there moving forward?
If talking about assets specifically, like meshes,
yeah.
My impression, and I haven't had an opportunity to use the new mesh generation tools in Desktop Editor yet. My impression is that mesh generation is a really good tool to get started, but it still needs editing, right? Your artists you still need an artist who knows what they're doing to optimize it. For really simple things, throwing that texture on there, like the coins we saw, that's a perfect example of getting rid of the busy work for artists, so they can focus on more complex meshes and textures and all that good stuff. It's a tool like anything else, but it's never going to replace. It's never going to replace the artist, or at least it's not going to replace the artist for the next year or 2.
Yeah. Seems like we're changing really quickly with when those time ranges are. Awesome. So when you guys think about your worlds and how you go from a V1 to something that users enjoy playing, what are some of your tips in actually refining your worlds, and how do you go from your V1 to the best build, test, iterate loop to get to the V5 that users actually start enjoying? Jessica, let's start with you.
I think for my team, one thing is we consider optimization from day one.
Okay.
We want to create these really big experiences with a lot of details. So we have to think from day one, how are we going to make that happen, within the constraints of the headset specifically? So when we bring something in, my daughter ruthlessly optimizes her 3D models. That's her claim to fame. So really, if you think about it from day one, that you're going to have to, reduce draw calls and make sure that your vertices are a decent number, so you're not over dreaming, what is possible on the headset. I think that's something that's very important to our company.
Awesome. listen to her because I just hack stuff together and hope it works. So do that from the start.
It just saves you a lot on the back end.
Yeah,
because
totally.
what's the point of being able to put something together really quickly if you have to spend time cutting it and reducing it at the end?
Yeah, absolutely. Pedro, what are your thoughts on going from build, test, iterate, and refining your worlds?
I think I'm a bit on the other side. I like to start with quantity and speed. I think it's important to try out as many ideas as you can, as fast as you can at the beginning. And then like once you try out a couple of things and you find the loop, the core gameplay loop, and you see something that resonates and that has potential, then I switch to that mentality of like, okay, now we gotta do everything we develop has to be like high quality and it has to be working, and it has to be functional and easy to modify and almost modular. That's always good as well, but not always possible, but it's always good as well. So yeah, I think there are two types of mentality, one at the very beginning where it's fast and quantity oriented, and then you go to quality and you scale from there.
Yeah. I'm more in that bucket. I definitely hack at the start. Ben, what are your thoughts? How do you refine your worlds, go from build, test, iterate?
Yeah, so we build it first, and I'd like to think over the years I've gotten sort of a good feel for what's going to work and what's not. But I think part of the beauty of Horizon Worlds as a platform is that the multiplayer functionality is just there. It's just ever present. And if I have a new mechanic or a new feature that I'm like, wow, I really wish I could get some real user feedback on this, I click go to Horizon Central. I say, hey, does anybody want to play a new game? And then I've got 5 people that come in and they try it out and they give me feedback. And I say like, okay, see you later. And we send them off, and we're able to get that user feedback and implement it in the development process. And the permissions for worlds, in edit creation mode, make it really easy to assign users as testers. They don't have access to your code, they don't have access to your assets, but they can jump in and they can try it out in sort of a sequestered environment.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree completely. So now, as we're looking forward to 2025, obviously you guys heard of the Creator Fund that we're announcing, some of the opportunities that brings for monetization, for growth on the platform. What are your guys' hopes for that? What are your guys' hopes that 2025 brings from the Creator Fund? Pedro, let's go ahead and start with you.
So I've been working with Horizon for 3 years, and it's a very ambitious project, it's a very ambitious game engine. It does a lot, and as any other game creation tools, it started with like a lot of limitations. It still has limitations. Every game creation tool has limitations, right? But those limitations are fading away very fast. The tool is just getting stronger and stronger, and it is capable of doing a lot more than it did like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, So I think it reached the point where it's already very mature and it's ready for every type of developer from I don't know, people just wanting to try out their first game ideas to like fully fledged game development studios that want to invest in the platform. So I think the game fund, the creator fund is going to help a lot, bring new talent to the platform and bringing us new cool Horizon games and experiences. So yeah, it's just going to accelerate that. And I think it's the right move and it's the right time for it,
Yeah. You talked about bringing more creators onto the platform. Can you talk a little bit about like, what is the feeling like with other creators already on Horizon? You have a couple of your colleagues here. Like, how do you guys usually interact with other creators when you're building?
I mean, so far it's a smaller community. It's growing a lot. So I think a lot of people know each other, and there are lots of, I don't know, like for example, we at Cluj, we basically know every 2P studio working with Horizon. So there is always a lot of discussions. And whenever we meet in events like this, we're always talking about our games and what we're working on. So, but I hope it reaches a point. I think it's going to reach a point very soon where we're going to have so many developers that it's going to be hard to do that, like knowing a lot of I don't know, a huge portion of the developer community. It's just gonna grow, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Jessica, hopes for 2025 Creator Fund from your side?
I think I share a lot of the same sentiment. I've been here for 3 years, and I've seen the platform change completely. If you tried Horizon 2 years ago, a year ago, even 6 months ago, it's a completely different landscape, completely different tools. It's much more what game developers would be used to, and it's going to be less friction and feel a little more exciting every time you come in it. And the team is just working so hard and taking all of our feedback. Like, for 3 years, we've given ruthless feedback to the team at Meta, and they've really listened to what we needed to be able to develop great games. And it's there now, but just getting better.
Yeah. I'll emphasize that point, which is it is a huge focus for us to build in the open, to listen to our creators as they build things. So that way we're giving you guys the tools that you need. It's a huge priority for us. We recently are launching our Creator Care program, which gives access to our creators, actually the Meta staff, to give us feedback, to go to office hours. So it's a really big priority for us to make sure that what we do is visible for the creators. Ben, same question to you. What is your hope for 2025 with the Creator Fund?
My hope for the 2025 Creator Fund is that it is so wildly successful that there is a 2026 Creator Fund.
Amen.
You know, just to speak to the point of you know, the community and sort of the relationship that we as creators have had with Meta. I mean, I've been here since the closed beta, before like we were able to have textures at all in Horizon, right? And it's come so far since then, but I have made, so many, real life friends, many of whom I see in the audience here. And, the relationship that Meta has really gone above and beyond to develop with the MHCP and their partners. I mean, just by the fact that the three of us are up here speaking to you is a testament to their commitment to their creators and listening and engaging and including us in the conversation. So, right now, as Pedro said, the space is not saturated. There is a ton of room for growth. And the people who are here have a culture of helping each other and encouraging and building each other up. And that's something that has been facilitated, not just by the creators themselves, but by Meta. And it's just really, an honor to be here today, just speaking with you all. And I look forward to doing it again next year. Maybe. We'll see. Fingers crossed.
Well, that was well said. You're taking my job, Ben. That was that was perfect. Well, once again, thank you all for being here. Really appreciate your time. Let's give it up for Ben, Jessica, Pedro.
Thank you.
So a couple last notes before we wrap up. One, please leave feedback for the session. Hopefully everyone enjoyed it. There are a couple of additional things that are happening. If you actually want to test out the editor itself, come by the Meta booth to actually do a demo of it and actually feel how it works in South Hall. So definitely check that out. We'll be here for a bit after the session as well, so feel free to come up, ask us questions. We'd be happy to chat with anyone. All right, thanks all, appreciate it.